Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to today's video diary, number 111, I think. To do some trust houses and have a look at them, but the weather is just peeing down with rain, so we might just have a day in. But either way, um, last night, UK time, which was just yesterday daytime for the USA, Microsoft um, made an announcement for the flight simulation community. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video log. They announced basically their roadmap for what's going to be happening in the next few months. And they laid the groundwork for exactly what's going to be happening, say, like next week and the week after. And they also announced something that they used to own, or they addressed a concern or an issue for something they used to own, and sort of made it more clear for everybody. So I'll start with that. Basically, the announcement that they made was that when they dropped support, Key Martin, we're backing out of FSX and we're going to hand it over. The Dovetail Games are going to take it and turn it into something new. And I think the reason they did that was because Dovetail, they wanted to make that FS world, flight simulation world. And so they did that. And Microsoft went on to develop Microsoft Flight, which came out like, I think 2014 maybe, but literally the same year they stopped development on it. They were like, no, no one wants this, forget it. So FSX stopped 2013 as far as Microsoft were concerned, and Dovetail continued to promote it through Steam. They released it on Steam. I've got it on Steam. It's quite good on Steam. They basically included all the service packs, all the acceleration pack, all the patches that have happened to it since the boxed version when Microsoft had it. They've included it all in there. And if you ever have any problems, you only need to click verify files and it reintroduces and solves many problems. And it's a lot more streamlined version, and it's better than the Microsoft version at the end of the day. I'm quite happy Dovetail have done that. Now, I guess in their contract, they always said that we can always reclaim that back and anything that's developed off the back of it. That is why Flight Sim World was stopped. That came into alpha testing in 2015, I believe, 2014. And loads of people were on board with that. Loads of people were getting it, myself included. I think it cost like £25. And they used Orbex, the global base, for the landscape, and it looked really nice. Every plane had True Glass installed. There was True Sky, it was called, but it was basically their own weather engine. It really did look really nice, and I was really looking forward to it. It had like a flight school and a career mode built into it, and I was like, this is ace. This is better than FSX. This is like enhanced FSX, and it was a 64-bit system as well, so it didn't have the 4 gig memory limit. But then suddenly it just said, you know what, we're stopping development of this, guys. We're closing it down. And we're like, oh, right. And that took me by surprise because of how popular it was. I was like, well, I guess there's not enough people buying it, or I don't know. So they stopped it. And what was really happening was Microsoft had came back and said, guys, we're taking it all back off you. And so Dovetail, or maybe that was in the contract that you've got so much time and we're going to have it back. Who knows? But basically now it's back with Microsoft FSX, and FS World still, you can use it, but you can't buy it fresh. If you own it, great, you'll still be able to use it. But if you don't own it, you won't own it. Basically, it's dead. So forget that. But FSX still going, and now Microsoft will claim it. I haven't looked on Steam yet to see if it is under the Microsoft banner still, but yesterday was that date where Microsoft now own FSX again and Dovetail do not. So in all intents purposes, all the artwork should reflect that on Steam as well. So that's FSX. They've also stated that, they want to take accountability into what they've done, which was basically abandon it back in 2013. They want to address that and say, listen, we're going to take it back. We're creating accountability. I mean, Yeah, I think basically FSX would cause a conflict with their new flight sim because there are so many users still on FSX. I've recently gotten back into FSX in the anticipation of the next year's flight sim for Microsoft, and I've actually really enjoyed it, and it's been a smoother experience than Prepared is currently. It doesn't look visually stunning because it's a 32-bit system simulator, and it can only do so much in terms of its graphics. P3D can do more because they've created that, and it's a 64-bit system simulator. And I mean, Prepared looks great, but FSX handles great, and it handles more fluidly than P3D, in my opinion, right? And every new patch or update to P3D only just completely wrecks it for a couple of weeks, and then it settles down and it starts flying again. Like, I haven't been able to fly in P3D for the past week because the Orbex version 4 app completely just killed it and changed everything. And now I've only just now today settled that, so I can go flying. So we'll have more P3D videos coming. But going back to Microsoft and that statement, they basically announced that in 7 days' time, we're going to be getting, and this is funny, the roadmap for what their plans are. We're not actually going to get any content. We're literally just going to get, here's our blueprint for what we want, okay? And then mid August, or sort of like around the 20th, I think it was 19th, they basically said is we're going to start general release on the what will be. I mean, they haven't stated exactly the name. They've just said development release or something like that. So it's like, of what? The development release of what? And it's probably most likely going to be the app, right? That like Orbex has their app where you where you buy all the everything contained in with it. That's probably what they're going to roll out before September. Is how we get the Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, my thoughts on how we're going to get it, guys. This is purely my personal opinion. Okay, hate me in the comments if you want, but I personally think it's going through Game Pass, the Xbox Game Pass for both PC and for the Xbox One. If you click right, if you go to the FSI Microsoft.com website, where it tells you the news of what's happened in Microsoft Flight Simulator, there is a icon here in the top right hand corner, and there is a login profile. And if you use your Microsoft email account that you use to get in the Insider program and on the beta team, and if you log in with that, it logs you in to another website, right? And if you scroll down, you'll see some Flight Microsoft Simulator stuff, but there are two things that you can click on there. One says Xbox One, and the other one says Windows 10. If you click on Windows 10, it takes you to Game Pass for Windows PC 10, right? From Xbox, from Microsoft. And basically, it has a whole list of games you can play. I've already paid for both Xbox One and the PC version of the Game Pass. But I think that's where we're going to find Microsoft Flight Simulator. And if you type in the search bar Microsoft Flight Simulator, it actually comes up in the search bar, right? And if you click on it, it just takes you to the Insider program page. But eventually, that will become where you're able to get the game. So I think the game itself will be free. You won't have to pay for it. What you will have to pay for is the Xbox Game Pass for Windows PC, right? Once you have that, right, then you will be able to play Microsoft Flight Simulator. So it's so funny how they're doing it, I think, is that they're saying it's totally free, guys, to get this. You don't have to pay a penny but you do have to have the Xbox Game Pass, which is £14.99 pounds a month to have both the PC and the Xbox One. So effectively, if you only ever played that one game, you're paying £15 a month to play it. And that's just the game. Like, they might even do add-ons within it. Now, the fact that they've taken FSX back, right, to me means that if they were to kill FSX, right, then it doesn't harm anybody and they can't be sued. If they own FSX, makes no difference, right? Now, Microsoft bringing out a new flight simulator, from the trailer, it does look awesome. And it has jets in it, and it has general aviation in it. And it has a lot of things that basically is what is FSX when you add loads of add-ons into it. So, and it looks fantastic. And there'll be no memory limits. So why would anybody go back to FSX if they can play on their current PC, you know, the new flight simulator with no problems? Why would they go back to a problematic FSX, or one that's had problems, or one that could not be performing as great? You know, why would they go back to it? I mean, it might be because of the aircraft, like PMDG or Aerosoft. There's a particular type of aircraft that's not in the new one. That's probably the only reason. But any other reason, it'd be like, why would you want to go back to something old and broken when you've got something new that's not actually going to need a new PC in order to run it? You know, because Game Pass, like, you can run a lot of games on Game Pass on the PC with like very standard specs, you know. So why would you do that? Effectively, I really honestly believe this may kill FSX. That is why they've taken it back as well, so they don't get sued from anybody if suddenly it were to die. And it's like, well, dude, you've killed our buddy. You know, thanks a lot. You know, we bought this from you so we could continue it, and you've just killed it by bringing that out. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but anyway. That's basically what's happening with Microsoft. But what they're not telling you, okay? So for anybody who's in business now will recognize what Microsoft are doing, right? Anybody who's either owned a company, owned a business, or even had to promote a product launch, Microsoft are literally going by the rule book of a product launch. I've noticed the signs, okay? So there's like the secrets to a successful product launch is like a 3-step thing, right? The first step is you make an announcement that you're about to make an announcement, which is what they did with the E3 trailer, right? They created not only the desire for us to get it, but it was an announcement to say coming soon, right? And then they uploaded the website to state, you know, this is where you're going to get the news from. So come back here. Get the insider program, right? So now they're finding out how many people are going to be signing up to this, right? How many people will they have as potential customers, you know? If it all goes tits up from this point on, they can just kill it and it won't matter a difference, right? But they didn't, obviously. So make a announcement about your launch, right? Second rule is you make it like a trailer, effectively, or you make a teaser thing in order to get people anticipated, waiting on the edge of their seat for it. And that's what this update was. This update, when they said you're going to get a massive update, guys, on the 8th of August, big update. And it was all it was to say, here's what we're going to be doing in the next few weeks, right? Here's what you could expect from us in the future. You didn't get anything. It was just news, right? That was the teaser, okay, for them dates. And then, of course, you've got the product release itself, which, again, we don't know the date of the actual flight sim, the full game coming out. We may never know that. But we do know when we're going to physically get something in terms of a build. It does say that at the end of August. So by September, we will have something in our hands from Microsoft about the new simulator, okay? It might not be the game. It might not be an alpha release of the game, but it will be something that we can have in our possession, right? So that's what Microsoft isn't telling us, is that, well, they're following the product launch rule book, you know, step by step. I recognize the steps in that because I do that for myself with my books that I write, the adventure game books, okay? Go check them out on Amazon. You make an announcement about the release of an announcement first, okay? You see how many people bite at that, right? Once they bite at that, you can then gauge how many people are really interested by making an announcement of the date of when it's going to release, right? So, however, and you can do that in a video, you can do that in an email, and how many people open that email, how many people watch that video will tell you a rough estimation of how many people will buy your product, right? Then you release the product knowing that there's going to be at least half of that group or a quarter of that group buying your product. So you can pretty much guesstimate how much you're going to make on release. It's this easy 1, 2, 3 product launch, right? That's what Microsoft aren't telling you, that they're doing the product launch step by step. So they're basically gauging us as we go. They have a roadmap ahead, and they're giving us the information as and when. So that's basically it. This time next week, we will have a little bit more information. And until then, guys, we'll have to wait and see. But until tomorrow, when I go with another video diary, um, today we're just gonna probably hang out and who's there's a bit of a big decision my girlfriend and I have to make, and so we'll find out what that is tomorrow. All right, take care. Bye.